Om Namah Shivaya, children. So with the infertility part, our 4th chapter is over. I hope you are clear with it. So today let us start with the 5th chapter. So what is the 5th chapter? It is principles of inheritance and variation. Okay, so it is a very important topic. I hope you remember about the inheritance and variation, about Gregor Mendel, what we learned in the 10th standard, right? So we learned a lot of things in your 10th standard, but those were all basics. Here you will be learning more about inheritance and variation. We will be learning in detail about all the 3 laws which we studied in 10th standard. So let us move on to the topic, children. So we know that have you ever wondered how we are seeing that all living organisms are giving birth to their young ones. Have you ever wondered why always a cow is giving birth only to a calf and not to some other animal? Or if you take the case of mango seeds can only form a mango plant and not any other plant. Okay, and given that they do, are the offspring identical to their parent? So we know, we are seeing that cow is producing calf only, it is not giving birth to any other animal, and mango seed is giving birth to a mango plant only. So this is happening every time. And when you see the offsprings of this reproduction process, are they identical to their parents? Yes, right. So most of the cases they won't be very identical to their parents. Or do they show any differences in some of their characters? They will show differences in some of the few characters. And have you wondered why siblings sometimes look similar to each other? Your brother or sister will be very similar to you, right? Sometimes to your parents also. Or sometimes they will be completely different also. Okay, so these are all questions which we have to think of it, right? So these are some questions which has to be thought scientifically. Okay, so all these things will be there in our mind, but scientifically we have to learn about all these variations which we see in the earth. Okay, so parent is producing offspring and these offsprings are never an exact copies of their parent organism. Okay, it does not happen in the case of sexual reproduction, but you take the case of asexual reproduction, they will have only very minor changes, right? So the branch of biology which deals with all these inheritance and variation is called as genetics, right? So this subject, it deals with inheritance as well as the variation of characters from parents to offspring. Okay, inheritance na kurichum they are talking about inheritance also, and along with that they are talking about variation too, right? So what is inheritance? So first let us see what is inheritance and then we will see what is variation. So inheritance is the process by which characters are passed on from parent to progeny. Okay, inheritance na parayna process lana, it is a process through which characters, ഗുണങ്ങൾ, okay, പാരന്റിലുള്ള ഗുണങ്ങൾ ഓഫ്സ്പ്രിങ്ങിലേക്ക് എത്തുന്നത്, and it is the basis of heredity. Okay, so inheritance is the basis of heredity. So what happens in inheritance? It is a process by which characters are passed on from parent to progeny. Okay, characters ആണ് ഒരു parent എന്ന progeny organismലേക്ക് എത്തുന്നത്, and this is the basis of heredity. And what is variation now? Variation is the degree by which progeny differ from their parent. So as we said, cow will give birth to calf, but the calf is not exactly identical to the parent organism. Okay, and it is due to the variations in them, right? So variation is the degree by which progeny is nothing but the offspring, differ from their parents. Okay, but variation എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, it is a term which is used to denote the difference from the parent organism. Okay, parent organism ഇല്ലാത്ത ചില മാറ്റങ്ങൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കാണാൻ പറ്റാത്ത ചില മാറ്റങ്ങൾ ഓഫ്സ്പ്രിങ്സിൽ നമ്മൾ കാണാൻ പറ്റും, right? So those are all variations, because we are not, if you take the case of human beings itself, we are not exact copies of our parents. We have lot of variations, right? So variation is the degree by which progeny will differ from their parents. Okay, and we knew that humans from early 8000 to 1000 BC, they know the cause for this variation. Okay, variation നടക്കേണ്ട main reason എന്താന്നുള്ളത് they have studied, right? So they know that it was hidden in sexual reproduction. And what earlier humans have did, they have even exploited this sexual reproduction that were naturally present in wild populations of plants and animals. Okay, and how did they exploit it? They were able to selectively breed certain plants, and they were able to select organisms that possessed desirable characters. ഓക്കെ, അവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയ ഗുണങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടായ തരത്തിലുള്ള അവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയ ഗുണങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള സെലക്റ്റഡ് വെറൈറ്റീസ് എടുത്തിട്ട് they were be able to produce they will be able to produce the desirable trait in a new organism. For example, through artificial selection and domestication from ancestral breeds, example, you'd have heard about the well-known Indian breed which is called as the, so let us see an example for it. So through artificial selection and domestication from ancestral wild cows, we have well-known Indian breeds. Right? So പണ്ട് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഇന്ത്യയിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന പലതരം ബ്രീഡ്സ്, ആ ബ്രീഡ്സ് വെച്ചിട്ട് that is wild cow breeds വെച്ചിട്ട് they have formed a well-known breed of a well-known Indian breed which is called as Sahiwal cows. I hope you would have remembered this. We have learned in 9th standard. Sahiwal cows, which was formed due to this artificial selection, and due to the desired characters they have formed a variety which is called as Sahiwal cows, and it was done in Punjab. And we must however recognize that our ancestors knew about the inheritance of character and variation, but they had very little idea about the scientific basis of this phenomena. Okay, so they were be able to carry out this artificial selection even in plants. Even we have learnt about artificial hybridization in the case of cabbage, formation of cabbage, cauliflower and different types from a single variety, right? So they had the knowledge of this inheritance of characters and variation, but they did not know about it on the scientific basis, right? So the phenomena based on the scientific ideas were not known to the people. Okay, so it was first a person called Mendel who started studying about this variation and inheritance. Okay, now let us move on to the Mendel's law of inheritance.